Well, well, well. Um, as these things unfold, you're seeing more and more videos of things that are being uncovered, and you see how people change their positions. And I'm not saying that people are not entitled to change their minds about certain things, but you can't undo facts in history. One of the things, and who am I talking about? I'm talking about Marco Rubio. How do you live with yourself? When I was not just in the military or federal civil service, all of my entire life, I've always been, if you will, the rebel of sorts, speaking out for the greater good, speaking out for those who could not speak for themselves. That's one of the reasons I wanted to become an officer, is to be a part of the change that I wanted to see. Oftentimes, blowing the whistle or bringing to light things of how things were being done wrongfully, how people were abusing their power, their authority. A lot of times to my own distress. But even with the loss of hair, the mental health challenge of being nervous because of exposing these things, I felt that I was doing the right thing. And I've always felt that I'm going to do what is right, which is harder sometimes than what to do what is easy. Okay. Now you have an individual, because he wants to be in the cabinet so badly. I don't understand how they can live with themselves knowing that they're lying and they're selling out the people. What are you talking about, Annie? Let's take a look.
Definitely don't repost it, and definitely don't watch it till the very end.
When the Soviet Union fell in the early 1990s, Ukraine was left with the world's third largest stockpile of tactical nuclear weapons and strategic nuclear weapons on the planet. But they signed this agreement with the United States and Russia that said, if you give up your nuclear weapons, these countries that signed to this, will provide for your defense. And so Ukraine did that. They gave up these weapons. Well, now, 20 years later, one of the countries that signed that agreement hasn't just not provided for their defense, they actually invaded them. And I want to make a point on this for a second. Think about if you're one of these other countries around the world right now that feels threatened by your neighbors. And the United States and the rest of the world are going to you and saying, listen, don't develop nuclear weapons. We will protect you. What kind of lesson do you think this instance sends to them? I think the message this is sending to many nations around the world is perhaps we can no longer count on the security promises made by the free world.
So my question, Mr. Rubio, what has changed? What has changed that where you would come on the news and say how wrong Zelensky was for asking questions? Let's continue, shall we?
For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014 and
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to.
There you have it. So it was all fine and good. Well, we're talking about how great everything is. But the moment he asked questions about, well, what kind of diplomacy are you talking about? And gave examples, okay? Not just talking off the top of his head, gave examples, the same examples that Marco Rubio gave. But you all say, hey, he was disrespectful. Why? Was he disrespectful? We're asking clarifying questions to give a certain amount of insurance that this wouldn't happen again, that there would not be a repeat in this type of history because based on his past conduct. So again, I say because someone asks questions, that means they're not grateful. And he said repeatedly, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. And God bless you, Mr. President. Hopefully we can get this deal done. But in the past, even under your watch, sir, previously, nothing stopped him. But you say he respects you now, but he didn't respect you then because, again, he broke the ceasefires. What? What?
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for your invitation. And really, I hope that this first document, will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course, the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do, and of course, I want to discuss with you what United States will be ready to do.
And like I said before, I didn't agree with sending billions of dollars when we got people hungry and homeless here. But they made the decision to do it. They made the decision to do it. And the man said he's grateful, but his people are dying. So how much ass you got to kiss before, saying thank you, how many times do I got to say thank you? Because again, they signed the gas contracts, gave that away, still invaded. So now asking for the minerals, gonna sign that, and he's still gonna violate it. So what the hell? And even if that, let's say that doesn't have to, it's not our problem. Okay, let's go with that. That means you still can't treat somebody with dignity and respect and the diplomacy of which you spoke? Come on. We're not stupid. We just look like this. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.